Right, this is correct, and I've set it all cut right? Right, okay. So originally, I'm going to start off with, I was going to do this as I was going to get it all pre-set up, and then, you know, go into it later, and then I thought, no. For the main reason of, I want to show people how to do it. I knew what I was going to say, I'm just terrible at speaking, apparently. I have... words. I am currently working, so you can probably hear the free printers in the background. I may have to deal with them occasionally. One of them is due for a material swap out shortly. But I thought I'll do the thing, and I've done basically no prep. I was originally just going to be like, oh, I'll get it all set up, and then I'll do a quick, you know, little short snappy video, and it's like, yeah, and then what happened when you tried to do this the first time and you had no idea what you were doing? So, we're going to go with the spawner train. Start out with James. Because it's a nice, easy one. And so to start off with, you press Tab to open up that menu. You press it again. You can do this. I'm going to attempt, at least. Wait, can I not do that? Oh, I don't like that. There we go. Right, that's the first two set up. So now we need to spawn another train. Mixed trucks. You've reached the maximum memory limit? What? Oh. Well, that's a thing. Tar tankers, can I do that? Let's put them on this road. I did not know that was a thing. I'd say I've had a lot more trains than that out before. Right. What else can we get? I'm not so bothered about looking at the loaded trucks. Ah, 4 red branch line. Oh, I can't do that either? Oh, that's... well, this is going to get boring. So, when I've been trying to make... words. As some of you will know, I make model trains for my job. And a few people have gone, ooh, that new game, what with the trains in? Do you have anything from it? So I thought, oh, you know, I'll have a look online, see what pictures there are. And I can barely find any. So I thought, I'll make this video. You know, try and do nice, all-around pictures, views, whatever you want to call it. Now, if I was sensible, I'd have done this near a bridge. Because then, what I can do is I can stand on the overbridge and do it that way. So the tar tanker and the milk tanker are identical. So that's a thing. Nice stand your brake van. And I am going to follow up on what I said with putting them under an overbridge. Rather than in the yard, because apparently I can't have too many trains out at once, so boo, boo. I'm trying to think where there's a usefully placed bridge. There isn't a platform, because it's in a platform, that's kind of a thing. Also, there's not a bridge here, is there? Because it's a subway station. Right. Which station has a bridge? I'm gonna go with Crosby. I didn't plan this very well, can you tell? However, my plan is to put some timestamps in the comments underneath. Basically so that if there's a thing you're looking for, you can find the timestamp, go look at it, and, you know, take screenshots or whatever you want to do, need to do, to make that easier. So now we've got the overbridge. I'm going to hop over here, get the train, next train. So I've got James's milk tanks, his tar tanks, the brake van. You know, let's have a look at the express coaches, because as much as they're not the most exciting thing, now I'm going to put the train here. In fact, I'll also have a look, I'll do a study of the locos at the end, because they'll be easier. So, uncouple, get rid of James. Uncouple that. Now this is where I didn't really think it through, but we'll be able to see enough from the bridge, I would imagine. They've got the red lamp on it. It's not a situational thing, it just seems to be on the model, which is kind of unfortunate. So we've got very narrow end view. We've got, let's climb on the platform, the side view. There's not a lot going on underneath, but there's something. The other end view, which is even more plain. Let's hop over here. And we've got the other side view, just in, you know, it's not any different. The inside view, I will get that one now. I'm not going to do both the express coaches because they're the same. So the inside, it's a big open saloon. It's quite spacious, honestly. The brake van area is not really represented properly, but, you know, it'll probably be fine. Let's go up the bridge. That's not really in view. There you go, that's best I can offer for now. I should have thought about where I was putting them better. But you can see again, it's just a big saloon vehicle. Nice big picture windows. High back seats, which is an odd one. You don't normally get the high back seats with that kind of window. But then again, it's like it's a weird hybrid, is this coach. Because it's got an interior and an exterior that don't really tie together. But, you know, that's, I'm sure, fine. So next up, we'll do the branch line coaches, because that's another James one, and James is top of the list at the moment. So we got 4 branch line coaches. So, again, put them on the middle road. Pull him forward a bit this time. That looks correct. I've not really got that down how I wanted to, but hey. Uncouple there. Delete. Uncouple that one. It's a lot of pressing tab and a lot of pressing delete. So, side view. You will notice these coaches have no brakes. No, not visibly anyway. They do appear to be vacuum braked, as you would possibly expect. Although these might be air. I don't know. There's no pipes. They do have brakes, though. That is represented in the game, at least dynamically. They're very wide, which is kind of odd, but that's the style of the time. I believe they're a Stroudley coach. I'm not certain on that one. It's not really my area. Again, nice. There's also not the ducket on this end. It's kind of odd. It's got some of the features. Again, got the standard. This looks like an all-first based on the proportions, because you've got that panel in the middle. That normally means you've got the extra legroom, and it keeps the same size windows, which is easier for maintenance purposes. Top view, you've got the lamp vents, because these would have been originally gaslit. Possibly even oil lit, depending on how old they were. But you need the vent, because obviously you don't want to exhaust, you know, fire, residue into the passenger space. That's all James's options. That's kind of boring. So let's go with the mixed trucks empty for diesel. So I think that covers basically all the coaches apart from Annie and Clarabelle, who I will get to later, along with the other all the characters and everything. So let's uncouple there. And try and keep it so we've got space around each vehicle and, you know, one of each type. Now we've already looked at the brake van. I'm just going to uncouple there and drop those off. So we've got very basic 7-plank truck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plus the floor. Some people count the floor as a plank. That can be, you know, a thing. They're kind of basic, but they're also kind of detailed. It's a bit of an odd one there. They've got spindle buffers, round shank ones, and free-link couplings, as you would expect. They are handbrake only. If you look at them, they have... I can't crouch. Oh, I can! I can crouch. Excellent. I didn't know I could do that until just now. So they've got independent brakes that are linked. Now, if you look at them, if you turn that lever, that brake goes on by pushing the crank that way. The problem is, on that side, it'll take the brake further off. So if I demonstrate, it doesn't actually do anything, just moves the lever. Okay, well, use your imagination then. Opening side door. Now this is, again, it's another... It's what I'd refer to as skin suit modelling, where it's got the look of the thing without being the thing. So these, on a real wagon, would be sliding metal bars that stop the door opening by just latching down over the top of this bit. So it's a 5-plank high door. Those are the hinges. Those are little catches that you push up, sometimes with crowbar if required. They can be very stiff. I work with these wagons. And then down it goes. And then, you know, up the latch goes, down the door can go. You've got the door spring, although it's really not going to do much there. That catches the door. There's normally a metal plate to stop it, you know, banging a hole in the wood. Similar situation here. You've got, that is the door strap. So the hinge is on the inside. I'll have a look on the bridge in a minute to see if it's modelled. And there'll be 2 pins in here, one there and one there, that to hold the door shut, because obviously if you load, what is it, 10, 12, 13 tons of coal in there or whatever, and you don't have the door shut, it's going to come out again. There's not really any soul bar details, but they do have the springs represented, axle boxes, you know, it looks the part. Now I'm just going to quickly hop up on the bridge and have a look inside, so we can see inside, just about. It's got the right shaped planking, so the planks go down the door, down the floor rather, so that when you come to empty it, the planks don't stop things falling out. So that's a useful feature. There's not really anything much to see over there. I should have brought this. I should just get diesel or someone and push the wagons under the bridge. Anyway, so that's the red wagon. Tab, delete. We've got very much the same situation with the grey one, however this one has a face. Look at the face. Yep, only one nostril. That's... Huh. We're not going to think about that too much. Again, you've got 3-link couplings, independent but linked brakes. It's a bit odd. These are simple, basic slides. Again, I'm not being picky about this, but normally on the full-size one you would have either a sort of sawtooth rack so that you can push the brake down and it won't, you know, come up again because you want the brake to stay on, or there'll be holes through it and pins that you can push through to stop the bar rising again, because it can take quite a lot of force to get the brakes on these sometimes. Again, door locks are facsimiles only, they're not really doing anything. This is the same as the red one, just a different colour. Let's try and get the nice end-on views. Same from this side. There's not really any view of the inside of the wagon, which is a bit unfortunate, but I can't jump. Grumble. There's the representation of the hinges, but they haven't got the middle bar because, yeah, there's a face. But not the red one either. Oh well. Next up we have the Humble Goods van. Now this is, I believe, based on, what I can find at least, a LNER design from the 1930s-ish for this particular one. It's a bit of an odd duck. Again, it's got some of that sort of skin suit aesthetic of it works but it doesn't. Now it's got the same chassis as all the other goods vehicles, so I'm not going to look too much into that. It's got sliding door, nice rain strip on the roof to stop, you know, water getting in. Now these blocks here would represent the door stops. Obviously you don't want the door to go all the way down the end and fall off the end of the wagon. So we'll have a couple of stops here and here, which they have, but they've got them on the other end. And they don't have the stops, they're just kind of there. This end, obviously they've got the cutout for the face. That's, you know, fairly normal, you'd expect. This side, it's got the gap where the 2 pieces of metal join, but they don't have it on the side. Again, bit odd, but hey, it'll be fine. Now you can open the door on these, and I can climb in. It's got a flat roof. Bit odd. I've not actually been inside one of these before. I've played some of all the missions, but yeah. So we'll get all-round views, and then we'll move on to the next one. There we go. So hopefully there is enough here to work with if you're trying to make your own models, or, you know, get the details for doing anything like that. Now, mixed trucks loaded. Let's have a look at these real quick. Let's put them back that way so they're a bit nearer the bridge. So, we can ignore the vans. Bye, Diesel. The vans got anything in them? Nope. Get these out of the way because we don't want to muddy the view too much. Ah, these are just the same again. So uncouple there. I'm going to go up on the bridge. So these wagons are identical to the existing ones, other than the very obvious one of they've got tarpaulins on. There we go. They're a bit of a haphazard tied down. Wagons that regularly carry tarpaulins. Hello, Mark. Sorry, I've just looked at the chat. I'm currently printing a PRA clay, I think ball clay wagon. Basically a big tippler. Basically the evolved versions of these. So this one, you can see it's got just big oversized crates. I feel like that would be more of a load for a van, but hey. Top view down. There's not really... The tarpaulin doesn't really go over the end. But it does go over the... Oh no, it goes over the end on the red ones. Okay. It's something. But yeah, normally there'd be tie-down rings either on the side of the curb rail, which is this bit where the floor goes. Or they might be on the chassis, or you might tie them around bits of the chassis. You'd be careful what you tie them to, though, because stuff moves. You don't want to, you know, violently rip the tarpaulin off. Yeah, so I'm not a fan of this kind of loading because, well, what's to stop them tumbling off in transit? Put them in a van, or put less of them in an open wagon. But that's me being a boring person. So what else do we have in Diesel's collection? I think that is all of it. Now, the troublesome vans. Is that the same vans? Or is it a mixture of vans? Because there is more stuff in the game. Nope. That I don't know how you access it otherwise. Now, Emily. Express coaches. Yeah, we've looked at those. Branch line coaches, we've looked at those. And that's all we got. Boring. Gordon. Very much the same situation. Percy. What we've got, mixed trucks loaded and empty. Annie and Clarabelle, there we go. Well, oh, mail train. Right, let's go mail train, because we'll go Annie and Clarabelle with Thomas. That makes a little more sense. So we uncouple. I'm not going to draw attention to the fact that the coupling heights on these are awful. Like, this one isn't so bad, but those should be level. And it really annoys me that they're not. So this is a Southern Railways CCT, which is a covered carriage truck. It is a carriage truck mostly because it has these doors on the ends. So this panel, which isn't properly represented, flops down, covers the buffers. These doors can open. You can then drive a vehicle through, either onto an end dock or into another vehicle. You will also, I'm sure, have noticed that these are not the right heights. But hey, it's something. Normally, these vehicles are a four-wheel vehicle, not a bogie vehicle, but hey. They've got some of the detail again, they've got the underframe trussing, there's no evidence of brakes at all. Like, they're there, they work in the game, but they're not represented. You can't open the doors on this one, and if you can't even if you wanted to, because if you look up there, and let's hop up on the platform, that door is underneath the edge of the roof. It's modelled correctly to the TV series, but the TV series is wrong. I am a boring person. This is why you're here. So let's go up here. Yep, so you've got the torpedo-style roof vents. Can I zoom a bit? Yeah, there we go. So let's go back down here. So we've got the end view. I would very much recommend look at the proper ones if you want to model these, purely because there's so much stuff where the longer you look at it, the worse it gets. I have one of these in 7mm as a proper, well, it's a PMV, not a CCT, so it's not got the end doors, but it's, you know, I've made it work. So, mixed trucks loaded. Let's have another go. Let's see if Percy gets anything different to diesel. Nope. Okay. Spawn a new train. Annie and Clarabelle, mail, branch line coaches. Ah, box van's green. Okay. I was wondering. So, these are all the same. So we're going to pick this one. And that one. So, let's hop up here. So we've got side view. The light's a bit weird. Basically, it's identical to the other one, just green. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a slightly better view. It's got no face. It is just a van. The top view, you can see it's got the rain strips just over the doors, and that's it. It's a nice basic one there. I have been making models recently of those are their equivalents. I think we might be coming close to everything. So this one I am actually going to keep. Come on. Right, on the right side. So now Annie and Clarabelle, to my knowledge, are an identical model, except that they're not. So we're going to pull... We're just going to drive Percy forwards. Yep. Just so you can get the look at each end of them. Come on. Come on. Not sure if there's a button I need to press to make them accelerate sooner, but hey. This is probably a good view of the roof. How do I just fumbling everything right now. It's good, right? Delete. So, we've got the side view of Annie, who is again identical to the branch line coach, as best I can tell, if not very, very similar. Then we've got Clarabelle, who has the end window blanked out, which I don't quite understand. I think that's a thing from the TV model series, but it doesn't really translate, and you think if you're doing a nice model, you'd just do it properly, because it's just kind of... yeah. So that should be where the guard's ducket is, or the guard's window. You've got the other guard's windows at the end. This is Clarabelle. Yeah, she looks quite happy. Free-link couplings, spindle buffers, basically the same as the wagon. It's all nice, consistent control gear. No brakes of any kind visible. Bit of underframe detail, but not really much. Got nice split-spoke wheels, which is pleasant, but kind of wagony. Again, view from the side. I didn't actually look at any of the coaches, did I? However, these are all saloons. They're also very full. And I'm going to send them into the abyss very shortly. The inside end, 5 panels, nice smooth arc roof. You can see the tumble home. That's been nicely modelled. Identical here. You got nice brass door handles. Now, normally, me a boring person, these handles go a bit lower, because if you've got the lower step and you're stepping up to the carriage, well, that's about 6-7 feet in the air, based on, you know, how tall my viewing person is. They got hinges modelled, and then back to the other end with Annie's lookout ends. Now these are not modelled internally, because if you look, they're just grey. No windows. Boo. I'm hoping the weather's going to be good this Sunday, because I have so far built 3 Farquhar Quarry wagons. Oh, sorry, I painted my 3 Farquhar Quarry wagons, which are numbers 6, 7, and 9, because funny numbers. And I have got 4 more vehicles painted on my desk, so I've primed rather. So I've got a Scruffy, I've got a couple of box vans, and I've got the brake van, because I finally built it. It only took far too long. But yeah, so there's that. This is some of the internal detail of the door. It's got the drop light, but the drop light doesn't, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's got a nice bit of paneling. Not a terrible show. So, I don't think there's any extra to show other than the engines. So we've got 6 engines. We've got Jim. I'm going to park here. So we've got side view. Now, again, this is one of those, the TV show did this, it doesn't mean it's correct. There is no real underframe on James, or most of the tender engines, actually. I will demonstrate this more when I get to Emily. Because if you look, there's... What's holding his wheels on? Ah, see that big plate inside? That's on the model. It's not a real feature. And yeah, there's the drawbar. So they've done a nice job of that. I don't necessarily approve, but they've done a nice job of it. There's the view from the front. With the classic lamp, and I don't know what that's meant to be. It's also kind of hovering on this one. I think it's meant to be a vacuum pipe, based on it being on the left side. However, vacuum pipes generally don't have the tap, and they're thicker, where it looks more like an air pipe or a steam pipe. It's a bit of an odd one. Also, instead of lamp irons, it's got pins, so the lamp is just going to twiddle around of its own accord. But hey, didn't know I could do that from the ground. Let's have a look at the other side. We've got, excuse me, another view of James, and we're going to go up on the bridge, and it's just in the wrong place. You good, printer? There you go. And you can see into his cab, you can get the back head detail and all that. Again, if you have got the game, you can do all of this yourself, but if you just want to reference stuff, it's easier to do it with convenient still pictures. So I'm going to try and pause on every view for a few moments, so you can get a screenshot if that's your thing. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at here, because that to me looks like it's in sort of handbrake territory, but it's probably not. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at here. I gather they're modelled off real engines, but I'm not familiar with this class. I like the nice locks for the doors. All the hinges, lockers, all that good stuff. Gauge glasses. The gauge glasses are very low. We're not going to go into this too much, but if you look at the shape of the firebox, then we step outside and you look at the shape of the firebox on the outside, yeah, they don't match even slightly. So we're not going to look at that anymore. Next one, we have Diesel, who I believe has the coughs and sneezels option. Here we have... There we go. So, front view, he's got the ladders, the classic big 08, 09, 010 experimental prototype, all that stuff. I think from the 1930s, 40s? I'm not too certain, but I think Diesel is canonically an 08 shunter. So again, we've got a pipe. This one looks a lot more like an air pipe. It's not got the ribbing that comes with a vacuum pipe. Basically, it's a big spring with a bag around it. Can't climb up any of the ladders. Boo. We've got the side view. Looks a little bit small. 08s are quite substantial. I think they've got 4'6" driving wheels. Either way, it's a nice representation. Got the horn, got, you know, cab windows, fuel filler, caps, access points, all that good stuff. Back end, you've got the view inside. Oh, let's try and stay still for a bit longer. On this side, it's basically more of the same. I don't believe those mirror across both sides. I don't remember properly. The top view, Diesel doesn't have an exhaust. We're not going to dwell too much on this, but yeah, there should be an exhaust port there-ish. Yeah, it's nice they've got some detail on the tops. Tops are normally harder to get pictures of, so I'm trying to cover all the bases. So next up we have Emily. Now Emily is where I will cover some of the discrepancies that are not present. So Emily's quite substantial. Again, miscellaneous pipe, lamp irons. She's got lift eyes, that's a nice feature. So when you pick these things up, it's not just a case of, oh, just sling a hook around any of it. You know, they can weigh like 50, 80, 90 tons. You can't just, you know, pick them up with a bit of string. So they've got lift eyes in, they're normally reinforced, but hey, it's represented, it's something. To pick them up with a crane, one at each end, because, well, if you've got a crane that can pick up a whole engine, nice crane. Again, screw link coupling, but it's not really, because if you look, it's, ooh, it's not got the screw threads, but that bar would be anti-threaded, so if you turn it, it pulls together or apart. Again, nice feature, bit of a weird thing that the hook's sticking out a little, but hey, we're not going to dwell on it. There is no back to the buffers. The cylinder is a bit of an odd one because the slide bar doesn't appear to go into the center. But again, we're not going to dwell on this. If you're making a model, please just, you know, do it properly. Let's hop up here. Right, so the side view of the engine. Quite big and boxy again. It's to cover the mechanism. That's the long and short of it with these things. You know, they were practical, you know, practical things made. Now this tender is actually very nicely done. It's done quite properly. The springs are a little small, but hey, you know, we'll roll with it. It's got the proper tender side frames. It's got springs, axle boxes. It's got a bit of a running plate. She's got ladders. She's even got coal rails. Quite narrow again, but you know, that's, I believe, the style of the time. We've got a number 12. It was not a number 12 when I was a kid, because Emily didn't exist then. But hey, you know, these things happen. Got a big chimney, quite a big safety valve bonnet. No dome. Let's have a look in the cab before we hop up on. Again, it's very much the model. Lot of coal in there. Torch. The Bardo clamp is a 4-colour one. You can have white, green, red, and yellow, I believe. I have one somewhere. Regulator seems to be ambidextrous. Not entirely sure what that is. That might be for the sand. That's the reverser. I think that's been standardised to all the locomotives. In theory, you can notch them up and down. I've not tried driving on this precise option. You have the vacuum exhauster. Basically, those vents let air in, and it purges the vacuum out of the pipe and puts the brakes on. Various taps. Now, Emily's only got 1 gauge glass. It's quite low down, but then again, she's around top boiler, so that makes sense. But yeah, you know, like I say, Emily out of 10. See the, oh, she's actually got the filler cover for the water in the tender. Handrails, nice, you know, boiler banding, brass handrails. That would be suffering to clean. I've been a loco cleaner in the past, or at least I've done loco cleaning. So yeah, so we're going to park Gordon up next. Again, this is the model. I'm not going to think too much about that. Nice representation of the valve gear and everything. That's all been quite nicely done. That, I feel like that wheel set should be slightly further under the cab. The cab floor is very low, but again, that's how these things go. So there's the side view of the locomotive. You've got the boiler barrel covered down again to hide the mechanism. Very small firebox, very small. Like, I believe on an actual A1 or an A3, the firebox comes out to at least there, and goes quite a bit further back, which is why it's got the pony truck supporting the cab. The tender, again, much like James's, it's a bit... yeah, I don't see how the wheels stay on. Other than, of course, because that's how they've been done. A nice representation of the oil on the buffers. You want grease to stop the coaches and things just kind of grating off one another. You've no representation of the water filler, but, you know, it's something. I don't really like how the doors open, because it's not got an underframe for the tenders, so the steps have got to attach to something. Let's quickly hop up on the bridge, then we'll go in the cab. There we go. fairly tidy up there. Standard round dome, not the banjo domes, which kind of have the swept back aspect to them. View from the front. Quite substantial there. Again, the cylinders are a bit messy, but they exist. And again, they've modelled the drawbar. Like, they've done a really good job with the models. The problem is, the models are wrong. So they've modelled all the mistakes in, a sort of thing, and the, you know, things required to do it properly as a thing. Now, I'm told this is modelled after Flying Scotsman. I don't know. I don't know if this end is, because Flying Scotsman normally has the Corridor Express tender, which is a bit more substantial. However, ooh, I can climb up here. Excellent. Right. If I crouch now. You will notice quite quickly I am standing on the cab floor. I can't see out. These windows are useless. However, the back head is modelled nicely. You've got various bits and pieces. Firebox door. Got the reverser, which is I believe, continuous screw rather than a notched one. I believe that's the regulator. I couldn't tell you. I'm not particularly well up on these things. I don't know. That's the regulator, isn't it? So that might be the brake. I don't know. It looks like this. Gauge glasses quite high up. It's got a quite narrow top boiler, which is a bit weird. It's sort of egg-shaped rather than round. Various gauges that are attached to things they probably shouldn't be. I wouldn't want my pressure gauges attached to the water. That feels like that could go really badly wrong. Anyway. There's some little grab handles on the roof. I think Emily has some nice details as well in the cab that I probably looked at but didn't say anything. So, next up we have the nearly the last. In fact, I think I'll do the last two together because I'm lazy. Spawner train. There we go, so we're going to start Percy and then move back to Thomas. So Percy, again, small, quite boxy, one of the better models to my mind, in terms of functionality and realistic. The spring's not above the wheel. Anyway, let's open the cab door up. So we've got nice side view, coal rails, bunker, big saddle tank, whistles, dome. I think that's meant to be a safety valve. The pistons are actually round. The piston rod goes into the middle. Very nice. The normal front end gubbins for one of these things. The saddle tank bothers me, but not massively, because it wraps around the boiler. You couldn't take it off without taking it apart, and it's riveted, so that would be difficult. On the models I've done, I've got the saddle tank comes down to about there and just drops straight over the top, because it's a saddle, it's not a, you know, sleeve. Various toolboxes to hide the fact that there's, you know, going to be the motors and whatever in there when they've built the model. For the show, is that eccentric? I can't tell. There's various other features that are modelled in some cases and not in others. Let's have a quick look in the cab. Oh, it's very close in here. The vacuum exhauster, regulator, reverser, various taps things, T-flask. Very small boiler, very low gauge glasses. Which does that match up actually? Top of the boiler is there. Now it's walk sideways. No. So the boiler should come to there. Again, nicely modelled, however wrong. Boo. Boo, I shouldn't keep noticing these things. I'm definitely overanalyzing. So we've got the water filler cap, the dome, everything nicely visible, and then behind us we have the blue one. Yeah. Water fillers are there. They are a feature in the game, so let's see if I can open them. There's definitely you can. Oh, you can. Yep, there we go. Can't move around up here, but I can see the whistles, cab spectacles. Apparently a short, stumpy dome. I don't believe them. It's almost more sizable than the chimney. The buffer heights are different. Can I demonstrate this in a convenient way? Yes, I can stick an extra diesel down. And I'll stick another diesel down over here shortly, but we're going to look at the back first. Not really much to see, again, quite narrow like all the coaching stock. Spawn last. Now we're going to spawn this way around because I need to be inside the signal. And then we're going to just quickly drive up. So I like diesel because the second man seat functions the same. So what we're going to do is we're just going to ram Thomas into the other diesel for display purposes. Bonk. Right. It's going to be quite loud, but I'm sure we'll deal with it. So you can see Thomas and Diesel at the back, matched up nicely. Thomas and Diesel at the front, no. Percy and Diesel, yes. So Percy's actually been done quite nicely for this, whereas Thomas is a bit all over the place. So let's go for the in-cab view. After we get a side shot, I should probably have closed the hatch. And the other side shot. There we go. Same on both sides. I'm not a big fan of the rivet details. There'd normally be smaller or more of them. Quite busy back here. I'm assuming this is again a model they've done quite well. The boiler does appear to line up with the firebox. That's good. Screw reverser again. Gauge glass, only the one. Vacuum exhauster, regulator, various gauges. Coal, lamp. Yeah, that's a useless window. Honestly, like that one's not so bad, but that back one is useless. Same with Percy. Like a lot of the engines have got really awful sight lines. Diesel is actually like one of the best for that because, I mean, yeah, there's Percy in the way, but you can see a good amount, and if you're actually in the seat, you can see better. And there's also, I learned this, internal camera. Lean out, left. Look at that, you can actually see! That's very, very useful. I am outside, we're not going to think about that too much, however. What else is there to cover then? So I've covered all the coaches, I've covered all the rolling stock. There's a couple of like different sprites on some of the vans. I think there's one for like fireworks, but I don't know how I'd find that one other than in a mission. So I'm not going to do that one. However, yeah, I'm hoping this has been somewhat useful. It's a 45-minute video. It's a bit clumsy. However, you know, I'll try and go through the timestamps, get screenshots, that kind of thing. And yeah, if anyone else wants to do that before I get to it, brilliant. Yeah, I might do some more a bit later, but I need to do some work as I've got 3 printers that are sitting here going, you should be running something on me. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this, and I'm just going to quickly... much better. Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed watching. Hopefully this has been useful for demonstrating the various types of good stock. Have a nice day.